During our lives, we need to go through a variety of evaluations oftentimes. When we're in school, we have different report cards that evaluate our progress. Later on in life, perhaps if we're at a job, we have work evaluations, we have reviews that kind of judge us. And when you think about it, we have all these ways of being reviewed, and of course, some of them are quite good, quite helpful for us. But these reviews kind of encourage us to think about what it means to be a successful, quote-unquote, human being in different terms. These reviews kind of evaluate us to see what it means to be a proper human being, a human being who is progressing in the appropriate manner. We have, ultimately, these reviews kind of make us think about what it means to truly be a human being who is doing well in life. What we think about this question, how we might answer this question, depends on what we think a human being is, or what a human being is for. Some people, perhaps, think that it means, or to succeed as a human being, means to obtain a lot of wealth, maybe, a lot of power, a lot of possessions, to enjoy many things in our life. There's kind of competing views on what it means to live a good life, and this is rooted ultimately in our vision of a human being. Think of this for a moment. Imagine you were to visit an art gallery, and there is this painting there of an individual, and all these people are coming to examine the painting of the individual. Different art critics come into the room, and they examine the brush strokes, and they begin to debate the meaning of the painting, what the artist was meaning to convey. Finally, imagine if the artist of that painting walked into the room, started to listen to what the people were saying about the painting, and ultimately said, "Look, I am the artist of this painting, and this painting represents someone that I love." In the end, when people heard this, those different art critics, I think, would want to learn and to listen to what the artist wanted to depict in that painting. For us as human beings, it of course works like this. We believe that we are created in the image of God. For this reason, what it means to be a human being, or what it means to be a successful human being, is determined by how we have been created to be in God's own image. And this Sunday, on Holy Trinity Sunday, we have this opportunity once a year to consider who God is. In other words, in whose image we have been created, and therefore what it means to live a good life. The Trinity is, of course, this great mystery that we have, and it can at times feel kind of theoretically, kind of like the theological fine print that is there in our lives. This incredible belief in the Trinity, that God is only one, but God is in three persons. This great belief, however, should impact how we view our lives as humans, about how we think that we should live, because again, we are created in the image and likeness of God, who is a Trinity. One important aspect or helpful aspect in this matter to consider is the way that the Trinity exists in this perfect relationship of love. We believe that the members of the Trinity, the three persons of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, are all equal. They all share that divinity. The only way that they are different is in their relationships. The Father is not the Son is not the Father, and the Holy Spirit is neither the Father nor the Son. And they exist, and their differences really are only found in the relationships that they have in one another. Now think about this. For God, then, what it means to be a person of the Trinity is defined by the relationships that they have. For this reason, then, for us as human beings who are created in the image and likeness of God, we are defined as being people created then for relationship. If we're created in the image and likeness of God, if then we are created in the image and likeness of this perfect relationship, we then are built for relationships. What defines us as human beings is our capacity to be in relationship with other people, in relationships of love in which we give of ourselves and serve others. This in the end then impacts the way that we are to live. It impacts how we consider what it means then to be kind of a quote-unquote successful human being, of what we should be striving to do. Of course, we should strive to use our gifts and our talents to serve other people, But in the end, it would seem that the way we are evaluated by God is based on our relationships. At the end of our life, as we journey through our lives, what matters most, it seems, what we really bring with us, are these relationships that we make here on earth. And this perhaps is a bit of a paradigm shift for us. We can consider that perhaps being successful isn't just about getting the best career, isn't about obtaining the greatest wealth, isn't about having the most experiences. These things, of course, can be important. But perhaps then, because we're created in the image of the Trinity, what matters most is the quality of our relationships, the way that we loved and served other people, the way that we worked on relationships even when they were difficult. We all then go through our lives and have various evaluations that encourage us to live in a particular way. This great feast of the Holy Trinity reminds us of who we are at our core. At our core as human beings, we're created in the image and likeness of God, and God is a trinity of persons. God is a perfect relationship of love. Therefore, it seems that what matters most in our lives are these relationships. Let us ask then the grace of the Holy Spirit this evening to maybe place into our hearts one relationship in which God is wanting us to grow in. One relationship maybe that is challenging, a relationship in our life that needs some work. Let us be encouraged and inspired on this great feast to remember that at the end of our lives, this is perhaps what is most important. What matters most, if we were to have kind of a resume of our achievements at the end of our life, would be the accomplishments we make, not maybe in work, not maybe in other fields, but accomplishments in the fields of relationships, how we have loved and how we have been loved by others.